Hey, how's it going, all you lovely people at Doorshutter coming back to you with episode 49 of the Direwolf20 1.20 mod pack, and today we are getting into Botania just a little bit more. So, I quickly went ahead and set up the endoflame automation here, which is 3 pieces of redstone, 1 hopper, 1 slab, pressure plate, wooden pressure plate, and an open crate. Demagnetization coil is optional if you have a magnet on. It's really a good idea. But basically what happens is once one of these guys takes a piece of coal block, it'll actually pick it up and it will, burn through that coal block, and then it'll drop another. Burn through it, drop another. And we may have them despawn. Oh well, I don't think that's really my biggest concern because wither skeletons can drop coal, turn it on for a few minutes, and we've basically made up all of the coal we could ever ask for. I only see one issue, which is apparently that the mana spreader is redstone controlled, and I don't remember that ever being a thing. Genuinely, I don't think I ever came across that issue until just now. So we're just gonna rebind everything, and if we wanted to, we could probably speed up one of these flowers, speed up one of the mana spreaders. Okay. And that should generate quite a bit of mana. Of course, it's going to burn through some coal blocks, but that's fine. Of course, as I've said, Wither Skeleton Farm. We could probably set up a limitation thing on the coal if we really wanted to. The only thing that I will say that is wrong with this is that you will need to have... You don't have a way to input things here. So I think, really, if we push this back, the one piece of redstone, put the... slab here and then put a full block here, something like that, we could probably try and figure that out. Maybe a conduit just there to here, and that might work as well, to be able to just kind of have the ability to probably pipe in some actual coal blocks from our AE2 system. Probably not a bad idea. Or even just pipe in charcoal from the actual coal, the actual wood farm over there. We could probably do that too if we really wanted to. But for right now, we're just going to let this run for a little bit, and we'll be right back here in a second. Alright, so let's kind of start progressing through this here. Biggest thing, let's get a mana pearl, which is just dropping an ender pearl directly into a mana pool. And we're going to use this to get a runic altar. I had to remember what it was called for a second. So runic altar is going to kind of be our next step towards progressing through Botania. We're going to probably need another mana spreader as well, just because we're going to need to be able to send mana to this. So we're going to set this right here, and we're just going to make sure that that's bound to this. And for the runic altar, we can, of course, make runes with this. There's tons and tons of different runes, and there's even more variations as we kind of go along the progression path. So that is something to keep in mind. But I believe for like the ones that require runes to actually craft a rune, in the older versions, I will say this because I'm not sure if this has been changed. The older versions, you actually would get these other runes back. So for example, these two, things like that. So that is something we can definitely keep an eye on to make sure that that's kind of the same way. Just not 100% sure if that's the same way, but we'll definitely look at that. Okay. So with that, that should open a little bit more gateways into different flowers. Let's see. So there is the Rosa Arcana. Experience points. There is... So that generates by experience points, by the way. I just completely forgot to mention that. Experience points are how you would be able to get mana generation out of this. I actually have never messed with this one, genuinely. I mean, we could. I don't think that'd be a big issue. I just am not 100% sure how we'd really go about this because I don't know too much about the cooldown or anything. Absorbing the experience of nearby players and turning it into mana. It can also synthesize mana from experience orbs and enchanted items in the world. When the flower's planted, toss a coin. So I think that wouldn't be too terrible. Especially because if... Well, let's go experiment real quick. I don't even want to say if. Let's just go check it out. So, if we were to grab a tank Jumbo tank works for now. At pipes. All right, so we can grab some fluid pipes, some advanced pipe upgrades. I actually already have 22 on me, so I don't know why I just made more, but that's fine. Let's go to the void dimension. So I think we should be able to do this. Oh, that's interesting. Didn't know that that would happen, but that's okay. Will this work? It does not look like that actually works that way. It might help if there was actually levels in there, though. Okay, so this does work this way. So my other question is, if we were to take this, however much this is, so 6 buckets, and we were to take the experience fountain, because this is what it kind of hinges on, is being able to pull from the actual tank into that. Or we could push it back into another experience obelisk and then link it to the experience fountain. That might work. Okay. Honestly, not 100% sure. No idea if this is going to work. I've never messed with this flower. We'll definitely have to craft one of these flowers, but that's fine for right now. And I guess it really doesn't matter if we branch out of this chunk, but kind of just still trying to keep it into one. So let's just set this right here. Let's set this here. Do this. Okay, so this does not connect. That is fine. That is okay. Kind of what I expected. So cog. We're looking for the experience obelisk. And cognitive crystal. Okay. So I would say we could probably set that right next to it. Set that there, set that there, set that there. That should then fill this very slowly. So let's just bump that speed up. So if we were to set the ender tank in the void dimension, set it over here, we could probably get a pretty decent flower farm going. Because remember, we don't have to set this right next to it. So we could set this here. I want to probably set it right there, because I missed that at the first time. And we need the wrench thing. So the staff of attunement. So from here to here. Okay, so just shift right click. Okay. And we could probably set this to moderate. And we could grab this flower. So how do we get this flower? Botania. Well, you know what? Let me clean up my inventory real fast. Okay, so it looks like we need a rune of mana. So a rune of mana. Let's see. So runic altar. We can just scroll through here to find the rune of mana. We could also look this up in JEI. It's probably easier. So we need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 pieces of mana steel. We may have that already, just because we can pick this up out of dungeons. And we'll need an ender pearl. So let's just grab 2 of these, since we already have enough to make 2. And we're just going to slap the ender pearls down in here. And we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mana pearl. And we're going to want some living stone. So we'll just grab a handful of that. We're going to turn our magnet off for a second. And you'll see that on the right side, of course, there's a green circle growing. There's also an X, which is a very good indicator of when this is ready. There's the lightning. So that indicates that it is ready. So we'll drop living rock, right-click with the wand of the forest, and we'll just go again. Okay. And, of course, the better mana generation you have, the faster this will go. If you have the next tier of the mana spreaders, which we do not have, we'll get those probably in a little while. But for right now, we don't have those. So this is what we're dealing with. Alright, so there's our second rune of mana. And what we're going to do now is we're just going to look up the Rosa. I think it's Rosa. So pink, purple, lime green. Okay, so pink. So we could grab 2 talls, and that'll give us 4. That's exactly what we need. So purple. We don't have any tall ones of this, so we're just going to have to do 2 sets. And then lime green, which we just need 1 of. Okay. And then over here Ignore the comparator. I was messing with some stuff. Somebody said that you could probably put water around this and it would autofill. That doesn't seem to be the case. One of the things I did figure out with it is you can actually drop water buckets onto this right here. Since the pedal apothecary can be filled by a dropped water bucket and dispenser, can fill buckets, creating a system that automatically refills the water in the block shouldn't prove too difficult. So we could do that. I was just messing around with comparators and stuff to see what we could figure out that way, but not really that important. Just kind of looking at it, seeing how we could automate this, because we will use this occasionally, and it would be nice to not have to fill it every single time, because you do need a bucket of water on you every single time, which I don't have, so let's grab that real fast. So we're going to do 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1 seeds. 1, 1, 2, 1, 2. Oh, I don't have water in there. See? Exactly. Be a good reason to have it automated. You could speed through things like this. And I accidentally just put seeds in there. My bad. There we go. So there are 2 Rosa Arcanas. So we'll put that there, put that there. Get a mana spreader. Okay. So one of my questions really is, how do we go about this? Because I will pick this up if I'm right here. So did that bind it? There it goes. Okay, so there. They're firing. So we just basically need to make sure that this is probably a little bit further away. Let's grab some grass. So I would say let's just move this to over here, maybe. Just kind of get it out of the way so we can always guarantee that we're not accidentally doing that. I guess we don't really need the tank there anymore, but we will need this pipe there. So, okay, that's not too terrible. I don't think. The only issue I can think of is if these guys are actually firing. I don't know how to detect that, because I'm not 100% sure how this fully functions. So let's get a mana pool. So just a normal mana pool. Set that right there. Okay. So it looks like 2 of these actually may be too much for this actual mana spreader. So let's grab one more. And we'll just set that right there. Bind it to here. Bind this one to here. Bind this one to here. Okay. So now let's say that to that. Turn this back on. Okay, so this has no redstone control. Okay. So let me look into this a little bit. I'm going to try and figure out the timer on this stuff, because I bet there is. It looks like it was just burning the experience with no real care. So let me look into that. Okay, I think I understand now. This is actually Ghost XP. This doesn't exist. This is empty. So yeah, that's why it's not doing anything. Because it looks like the Rosa Arcanas don't have any sort of cooldown whatsoever. Which is interesting, because I would think they would have one. But we're just going to grab 2 random ender tanks in our system. I think we're not using these, so that's fine. Let's go for green dye if I can. I don't know. Can I make green dye out of this? You know what? Let's just go red. Let's go top, bottom, top, bottom. I accidentally missed. I'll just do all red then. I think this is empty. Let's just press H real quick so I can actually read this. Okay. And what we're going to do is we're going to go fly over to one of our farms. I'm not really sure which one. I think it doesn't really matter because all of them have XP on them. Which one is that? That's the Hoglin one, which is still fine. This is the Wither Skeleton, I'm pretty sure. So let's just turn the Wither Skeleton one back on for a little while. Let's grab pipes. Oh man, I love that I can open this in another dimension. I completely didn't even think about that, but that is so much. That's so fantastic. Okay, and we may need to try and place this in a different orientation. Yeah, there we go. Okay, let's use a normal wrench from Create. Let's do that. Okay, and then let's turn this farm on. Which I think this is our Wither Skeleton. No, this is our zombie one. Okay, I mean, that's fine. Whichever one is turned on doesn't really matter to me. I probably want to just get a tank, a jumbo tank anyway, just so we can store a ton over here. Let's see. So if I do this and then I believe this, can this transfer? It can. Okay, and then we just grab pistons. 4 pistons to be exact, I think. To pump out 4,000 millibuckets. That should be pretty decent. And then we can do this, do that, pump that into here, turn this on. And that should start firing both of these. And also, if I stand within certain range of this, it will draw my own XP. I don't really care, genuinely. So yeah, these are rapid. Look at this. This is just like rapid firing. I think the spreader is actually struggling to keep up with this. Alright, so within like 30 minutes, we have a full mana pool. I quickly actually had to kind of change some things up because there was only one flower firing at a time. So I've got 2 of these experience fountains set up, and they all can be bound to 1. Right now, I've actually set in motion 3 or 4 of our mob farms firing. So we're technically getting a ton of XP here, which is fantastic. But this being full is a problem because we actually need to get this sent somewhere else. Let's see. Do I have a mana splitter? I do. Let's just grab some iron. We can grab one of these. We'll just use this pull. See, how much can we toss down? Just a whole stack? That sounds perfect. We should be able to fill that pretty quickly if we just turn the lever on and turn my magnet off. Yeah, because with both of these firing, it's definitely not difficult. And if I stand close enough here, I can actually feed the flowers as well, because if I have levels on me, it will take them. So, of course, I could just go over here and I could just click store all as well. So, that is awesome. Let's see. So, mana splitter. I probably want to set this here. But this is going to be a little funny looking. Let's see here. So, mana pool. Probably grab 4 of these. Because we're going to want to basically set all of them like that. And then probably get a mana spreader. Probably set that right here. And then set a mana pool here. And then another mana spreader. To hopefully send the mana from here to here. And see if that'll work. Okay, so that's bound to the mana splitter. So basically, we're just raising it to the point to be able to shoot into this, which will then split it into 4 different mana pools. Is this fully necessary? Absolutely not. We're just going to do it this way just so that way we actually have enough room for this to run for a little while. I mean, it's working, so that's another good thing. We're able to keep firing. So I'm okay with this. Alright, let me be right back. Let me let this run for a little bit. We're going to hopefully get a decent chunk of mana pools filled up here. And, yeah, I'll see you guys in a second. Alright, so real quick, making a Rune of Fire. The reason I want to make a Rune of Fire is because I want to get a potency lens, which is this right here. And the potency lens can then be placed on a mana spreader, which will actually double its output. And then, of course, if we wanted to, we could probably try and get another one here real quick. So this. And, of course, the mana powder is just sugar or gunpowder or redstone or glowstone. There's several options. I just use sugar 9 times out of 10, so there we go. So we've got more runes of fire. Actually, I guess it gives me 3 per, and I didn't realize, or 2 per, and I didn't realize that. Yeah, 2 per. Oh well. But we'll then just see if we can get another mana lens, get a lens of potency, and see if we can place that there. It is slower to send the burst, and if you do it too long of a distance, there is potential loss, significant loss, which I'm fine with. I don't really care too much, but that should start filling this stuff up just a little bit quicker, hopefully. And that should be able to send just a little bit more. I know there's also several other lenses we could actually look at. Let's see, there's velocity. Will dramatically increase the speed at which a mana burst travels, but at the expense of initial capacity and faster mana loss. So there's that. Resistance will significantly increase the amount of time a mana burst will go without starting to lose mana, but slows it as well. Efficiency will slightly increase the amount of time it takes for mana burst to start losing its mana, and will also significantly decrease the rate of loss. Messenger, bounce, gravity, bore. There's a whole bunch of different ones in here, but we're just focused on the potency one for now. And we could probably put potency on these so they actually send more, but I think we need a bigger mana pool for that before we do that. So I'm hoping this will just help us just a little bit. Not 100% sure. It looks like we just may be straight up losing too much. Let's see. Can we make this better? Let's see. I don't think we really can. Unless we were able to move this closer. So just move it like right there, maybe. And yes, this is kind of cheating, but that's okay. I ain't too worried about it. And then maybe do that. And then do this. So that way we're probably not losing as much. That probably works. Alright, I will be back in a little bit, and hopefully we'll be able to get just a handful more of the mana pools full. So yeah, I'll be back. Alrighty, this thing takes forever. I'm pretty sure it's because this is kind of an inadequate mana spreader, but we basically have 2 pools full. And then these are getting there. So what I think we're going to do is look at the kind of next thing, which is probably the terrasteel agglomeration plate, I would think. Let's see. Whole bunch of different stuff. Let's see. Can't hold all their mana. This mana splitter can fix that issue. Mana received from mana burst will split evenly into the mana pools. So this doesn't say it does have any input, like, problems. So that's interesting. Like, oh, what am I thinking? Not any mana problems. Mana limitations on how much it can take in and all of that. Okay. So let's see here. So probably look at sparks, which is how we're going to do the terrasteel agglomeration plate. So spark. We could probably grab a handful of these. So there's 2. I think that'll be fine. And terrasteel. So agglomeration. How in the world do I spell this? Terrasteel. There we go. So it's, yeah, terrasteel agglomeration plate. I butchered that so hard because it's AGGL. There we go. So this requires water, earth, mana, air, fire, block of mana steel, 3 lapis, lazuli blocks, and then also looks like 5. Believe there's one under here. 5 living stone, living rock, and then 4 lapis pieces, 4 lapis blocks. So let me get that, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I've set down the base platform for the terrestrial agglomeration plate. All we need to do is put that in the middle, place the spark in the center. I've also went ahead and put sparks on these. And then what we need to do is we need to get mana steel. And I believe the... where's it at here? Doodle-doo. Mana steel, mana diamonds. Okay. So we just grab some diamonds. Just grab like 16 blocks. I'll just go toss them in this one since this is full. 11, that's fine. Okay. And then what we're going to do here is we're going to do boom, boom, boom. Let that go. And you'll see all of the mana from these pools flying over to this. Okay, and we actually got our first piece of terrasteel with no real problems. Of course, there was quite a bit of AFKing in between this because I genuinely have had a few things happening in my real life, so I couldn't just... I just kind of let it sit while I was, you know, doing other things. So let's make another piece of this. This shouldn't be too slow. Another piece. So let me get about 8 pieces of this. I think we could afford 8 pieces of this, and I'll be right back. Alright, so with terrasteel, that means that we now have kind of a decent progression, I would think, for just kind of one episode here. So we've got the endoflames automated, which kind of just run the runic altar. I did completely drain this. We'll probably remove this and just put a mana spreader here to kind of allow for us to run the runic altar off of this just instead. And we could just remove all of this because I don't think this is really too necessary anymore. So let's just quickly clean this up. So boop, boop. Just get rid of all that. And we'll just take out the endoflames. Don't really care for wasting fuel on this. Okay. So that is perfect. So we've got a little bit more room. We could actually move this closer if we really wanted to. Just kind of get it 1 block closer. And we should be good. So this is a pretty decent system for mana. Of course, once we get the better mana spreaders and the ability to move more mana per burst, even with potency, we're still not really pushing that much because these things are constantly full. Like all of these Rosa Arcanas are. So definitely getting the portal to Alfheim, which is kind of our overall goal right now. Let's see. Portal to Alfheim. This thing right here. So we're going to, of course, need terrasteel, which is a good reason to make a whole bunch in the beginning, as much as we can at least. And we're going to be looking at making this, which will probably set just right here. And we're going to probably want to get a couple mana pools. And this is all going to be next episode. We can grab the mana pools now. Not really too worried about that. But a lot of this is going to be next episode, right? So we can do mana pool, mana pool, mana pool, mana pool. And then we're going to, of course, want to also think we're going to need a couple nature pylons over here as well. So there's tons of stuff to keep looking at. But once we get all of this sorted and figured out, we will definitely be golden to kind of get the ore generation stuff, which I don't know if we have unlocked actually, which is called the orchid. So we still don't have this unlocked. So I'm assuming we probably need some Portal of Alfheim materials. Yes. So pixie dust, which is mana pearls in the Alfheim portal to get pixie dust. So yeah, we're still kind of waiting there, which is okay with me. But this is basically the way I want to do mana resource generation. It won't be the best. Definitely will not be the best. But I think this will be pretty cool just to kind of check out, see what we can do. There's also the Orchid Ignum, which gives us the nether variations of this, which is probably going to be something I want to look at. But we do need to make sure that we are placing netherrack and stone, respectively, to get this. And honestly, getting nether quartz automated this way sounds like a pretty good option. And also, of course, the ancient debris is going to definitely be a good thing. Because, I mean, if we wanted to, we could probably just make tons of these. But I think all of these require mana. So that's going to be another thing. We're going to have to come up with a very decent solution for mana. And I don't know how permanent this one is, because I haven't seen it fully with better mana spreaders and things like that. So yeah, that's kind of the plan, kind of the direction we're going. So Portal of Alfheim, and then hopefully getting a decent source of flora, or mana in this case, that actually gets us to the point of being able to sustain a orchid, overpowered system of ore generation, right? So we'll also be throwing in the Industrial Foregoings Souls mod, because I plan on seeing if that will work to speed up the Orchid and the Orchid Ignium, because that would be absolutely fantastic if that does. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay awesome, and I can't wait to see you in the next one. Bye-bye!